Sylar08. Hello, Mr. Sylar.
Good
How you?
day.
Good day, sir.
Good day, Manu. We're all good.
Pip pip cheerio.
Pip pip, cheerio.
So, the newest episode that came out was basically forgot the title, but it was like basically Gohan and Goku and something about suppressing or going beyond his limits and all that. So let's just begin. And all I gotta say is I love how the beginning starts because we see Goku, Tien, Master Roshi, and they're all sitting down there eating food, and of course Goku's pigging out. And the first thing that's coming out of Tien's mouth is, "Well, I hope we win this 10 million zenny. You know, I want to win the 10 million. Or, you know, I know at first he's thinking about rebuilding the city because in the previous episode, you know, the mind control from the chick, all his soldiers did all that damage, and of course doing the Kamehameha to the ground didn't help at all against Master Roshi. But when he said that, I knew that was a joke towards, God damn, how much more are you gonna buy, Goku? I can't afford your eating habits. So basically, that's how the episode starts off with them all sitting talking about the tournament of power and winning the damn thing. And then you see in the next scene where you see before that it was actually Gohan talking to Piccolo, and Piccolo's telling him you're basically ready. You've been trained up. I've given you all the training I can give you. So your true test awaits for Gohan. He wants to challenge his dad. So here comes Piccolo and Gohan walking into the restaurant, and he says, you know, Dad, I'm ready to spar with you, but I want to actually go, you know, serious on you. Like, I ain't doing no training. I want to test my power against you since I've now fully awakened my mystic power. So literally, it got talked into a 2-on-2. So they went to a battlefield outside of the restaurant, and it was Goku and Tien versus Gohan and Piccolo. So this is where it gets interesting because we actually get to see Piccolo's potential as well. So, you know, Piccolo's been trained just as much. Tien was a little disappointing, but here's, you know, we have Master Roshi sitting out on the sideline with Chiatsu. And he's discussing to Chiatsu, you know, how Goku has trained all his life as being the best martial artist, you know, on this planet, and now he wants to see his son surpass him. So basically, that's what this episode was called. It was basically Gohan trying to surpass his father in this episode. So the battle starts off with let's see, I think it was like Tien making the first move, and Gohan making the first move, and. Yeah. You see them going at it, and you see Piccolo in the back charging up like he wants to do a devastating ki blast. Little do we know when freaking Gohan punches Tien right in the freaking gut, which I bet that freaking hurt, but he still took it like a champ.
He took it like a man.
He took it like a champ, you know. Freaking Goku steps in, and they're wailing at each other. And Piccolo unleashes, looks like to me, a sort of like, kind of like the Majin Vegeta AoE, if you think about it. Because it looked like he was going massive full power. He literally make a dome of energy, kind of like the explosion, but it wasn't an explosion. And even Goku said after he tried to stop the blast, he said, shit, if I didn't react to that thing, that would have fried me. Because he said that was a damn good move. Bottom line, though, was out of the 2v2 and destroying a whole bunch of shit and seeing the potential of all four fighters, it ended up, they realized what they did to the field, and they're saying, well, you know what? That's it for today. But then Gohan's like, no, this shit ain't over, yo. Okay? I'm still challenging you, Dad. One-on-one, max power, let's go. So apparently they both eat a Senzu bean and redo the fight as a one-on-one. So we get to see Mystic Gohan full power versus Goku. He just goes Super Saiyan 2, I believe, in this fight. He just goes Super Saiyan 2. So in this Super Saiyan 2 form, so it's Super Saiyan 2 versus Mystic Gohan at maximum power, and literally Gohan's giving it all. We see Goku looked like he was having the upper hand, but then Gohan was like, nope, not taking that shit. So he put some beats on him to the point where he put a nice shot into Goku, which made him want to go Super Saiyan Blue, because even Gohan said, stop fooling around. I want you to go full power. I want to test my damn full power. So freaking Goku does go Super Saiyan Blue. And surprisingly, even though it looked like Goku had the upper hand before the final hit, and we'll discuss that one in a minute here, it looked like Gohan actually was a little faster than Blue for some reason. And it seemed like he was getting some hits in against the Blue form. But when Goku had to go Kaioken Blue, and he went Super Saiyan Power Up Max versus Power Up Max Mystic Form Gohan. Gohan goes in for the most epic, like trying to fly up in the sky moment in this whole fight. Beautiful landscape, night sky, and you actually see in the background a cutscene where Beerus and Whis and even Vegeta are watching this shit. And even Vegeta smirks a little bit, saying, you know, this is some good shit going on. You never get to see that from Vegeta. Like Vegeta has changed, but
I think it was the pride.
It was definitely the pride. That's why he smirked. He was like very happy to see his father and son fight. So literally, you see the final shot. Who was gonna win? Kaioken Blue time. I don't know if he went time stand. I don't think he went time stand. He just went Kaioken Blue. So Kaioken Blue versus Mystic just Mystic Gohan, no rage. There was no new transformation. It was just max power. So boom, it was like, you know how how like two bulls go into it, and it's like a crossing, like both characters cross each other, right? And then they do an epic, like, you know, pose for that 1 minute, and then yes, you see the fading of Gohan. He clearly lost the one-on-one like the biggest punch ever, and it was pretty thoughtful for Goku. He saw what his son did, so he basically floated down like a little feather because of how bad he got beat on that final shot. So he came down and carried him down all the way. He caught him about halfway down to the ground. So he got to the ground. He was very proud of his son and announced that he will be leading this pack of 10 fighters. So he was chosen as team leader for the fight, which was, I didn't expect that to happen. So that one was a little bit of a shock. But I'll tell you this, the fight was intense. I could not believe how good that fight was. This episode was really, really, really good. And first of all, just say this, Piccolo's training has definitely paid off for him. He's freaking more powerful than what he was. Mystic Gohan's power has increased by far at maximum power, but it wasn't good enough to stop a Kaioken Blue Goku, unfortunately. But that might actually that might change once we get into the World Tournament, or not the World Tournament, but the Tournament Power, because you never know what's going to happen. And we hear these rumors of new transformations and all kinds of stuff. So we're hearing from my people out there in the channel that both of these characters are going to get new transformations. And we've heard many predictions that it's going to be a Final Four matchup between Gohan and Goku versus the two of the guys from Universe 11, which everybody's saying Toppo and Jiren. But we don't know that. You guys don't know that. But good to hear about predictions. Before we continue any further than that, let's hear from Sylar, his discussion about episode 90 and what he thought about it, and then we'll both rate it and go from there. So let's take it off, Sylar. What do you think about this episode? And you can discuss maybe stuff I missed.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. I mean, you know, like from past discussions that we've had, dude, like, I'm probably one of the harshest critics ever when it comes to rating episodes.
Right.
This was like, I mean, I'm not going to rate it now. I'll rate it in a bit, but like, yeah. I enjoyed it, man. Like, even from the get-go, you know, the fucking opening scene, Piccolo, you know, saying to go on, you know, I'm done. You know, you can't learn anything more from me. But, like, you know, you've covered most of that anyway. But the one thing that, like, I enjoyed more than anything was, I don't know whether it was a new technique or whatever, but it looked awesome as fuck. When Tien was doing the tri-beam, or trying to do the tri-beam anyway.
Yeah.
And
I didn't discuss that, but yeah,
he literally
was trying to do that.
Yeah, he was trying to do the tri-beam, and I don't know whether it's a new technique, but that finger blast was so reminiscent of like the the Stardust Breaker or the Spirit Breaker. You know Gogeta's move. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was very similar to that in terms of it was just like
Yeah, I was gonna
you know what I
say
mean.
it
I
definitely
enjoyed that.
looked like that. Absolutely,
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
that was pretty
I thought that
cool.
was really good. But yeah, that was an OMG moment for me because I was just like, what the fuck is this doing? You know what I mean? Yeah, it was like and all that. So fast forwarding, the one thing that you didn't cover in the episode,
Yeah,
which like I just want to bring up,
yeah. Go ahead.
which was interesting for me, the Goaster scene.
Yeah,
Like I thought that entire scene was really, really, really good.
yeah. I didn't discuss about the Guatsu scene, and here's the reason why. I honestly thought last week's episode, I thought they covered another universe well. I just wanted to get into the summary of this whole episode, which is basically Gohan and Goku. But going
Yeah,
into that, I will say this is, Kawatsu is known for thinking things out and not seeing things out, and I think that's what the God of Destruction, um, for his universe, is basically was trying to tell him, with of
yeah.
course, yeah, with of course the exception of you seeing a brand new character who by far loves his protein drinks, I must say. So give a shout out to protein
Uh-huh.
shakes out there in Universe 10. They must be the best protein shakes out there because him and his army of 9 that's repping this tournament is
Uh-huh.
enjoying those wonderful protein shakes. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this fighter other than so much brawn, not enough brain. I don't know if he has enough brains for tactical fighting, but
I
I
think they're
always
screwed.
I
I mean,
think
there's no two ways
I
about it.
think for sure this team looks so scrubbish. And the thing though is you gotta remember if you go back to almost maybe a couple months ago, like what, a month and a half, whatever, was when Zeno said to who was it, the grand priest, to tell the fighters from the expedition that Universe 9 and Universe 7 were the two worst. So as in power scaling, that is. So
Mm.
Universe 10 supposedly overall it's going to be higher. I don't know how much higher. Were they the third worst? Were they the fourth worst? Because to me right now, if this is the leader of Universe 10, and it's going to be their savior and their main guy and their team to represent Universe 10, this is why I didn't discuss. I was not too impressed because yeah, we didn't see the other 9 fighters, but to me, I don't know. I just felt like it was just more cocky and arrogance from this character. We don't know anything much about this guy because he's a new character, and
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know how good he's gonna do. For all I know, guess what? Him and his team renouts like in the first 10 minutes. You never know. So I was not too
I
impressed.
think I think the reason why like I brought it up, like the thing is like the whole scene wasn't that good anyway. But the reason I bring it
Right.
up is because of the feelings that Goasu had.
Yeah.
I mean that's the reason why I brought it up because like the whole fucking Zamasu thing, like people think oh the Zamasu arc's over and all that shit, like there's gonna be no more relevance to the Zamasu thing,
Yeah.
but the fact that like he's made a really piss poor universal decision that
Mm-hmm.
nearly cost everybody their lives. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And
Exactly.
that must that weighs up on his conscience. So like he's already got like a shit ton of blood, and like there's nobody who's got more blood on their hands than Goasu. I mean he's
Mm-hmm.
basically responsible for like his decision to pick Zamasu was responsible for an entire timeline being wiped out. So
Yeah.
like he's got that blood on his hand, and then on top of that blood, imagine if his universe gets erased. Like how much more blood can you put on your own hands? Like I wouldn't want to make that decision if I was a Kai. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
No,
So
I
that's the
wouldn't
reason why I
either.
brought it up. Yeah, that's the reason why I brought it because I thought it was really interesting that they kind of delved into that. What I would refer to as interesting character development. Like that's very interesting character development for Goasu because it shows that he's not just going, "Oh, the Zamasu arc's over. I'm fine now."
But
You know what I mean?
and I was gonna say, I'm gonna add to that subject about Kawatsu is it's amazing. This guy has shown now a lot of emotion because of the
Mm,
fact that what happened to his apprentice and what he caused and what he did to the time universe of universe, not only to him, his master, but to Universe 7 and everything that was going to go his way and say, hey, I believe in the justice, so guess what? Let's kill these filthy Negans because, they're the terror of the universes and the whole galaxy and all the universes because, after
Yeah.
learning from things from his actual master, his heart, thought otherwise, and he didn't know what right was wrong and what wrong was right. And his ideal was, to just kill all the humans and reform, what was it, purity and balance and justice and all that.
The world in his own image, effectively.
Basically, yeah. So, but Gawatsu is definitely you can tell in that episode when he's talking to the god of destruction, and also the fighter that he saw. That he just does. He's not the same like how he was.
No, he's broken.
He feels very broken. Yeah, exactly. You see emotion out of the character. So I'll definitely say that's a big change from Gawatsu. He was definitely affected since the turn of events from all the time travel.
Thing, though.
And it is a good thing.
That's a good thing, though, because the reason is, like, I was kind of worried that they'd forget about Guasu after the Zamasu arc, and it'd just go back to Guasu just recruiting a basic apprentice. I mean, if you've noticed, there is no apprentice to Universe 10 right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no... he still hasn't got an apprentice, so...
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he's broken. Now, I don't know if there's any more Kais like him, like, out there. I'm sure there are, but we don't know, and we don't know if they're gonna add anything else to Universe 10. We don't know after the here there's so many what ifs, and we don't know, and this is what the word predictions are, because the word prediction is really fun to the Dragon Ball universe, because predicting all kinds of things, like what will happen when certain universe wins. Will that universe be permanently destroyed, or will it be wished back? Do we know what's going to happen in this tournament power? We don't know. So obviously, I'm predicting Universe 10 isn't even going to have anybody in the top 10. I don't think so. I just don't see this team. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see this team having it. And I definitely feel for Guatsu, because as much as the God of Destruction is telling Guatsu, don't worry about it. Don't think with your head. Think with your eyes and your heart, and look at those fighters over there. These are the guys that are going to win us the tournament. But you got to have somebody that's also tactical and know what they're doing and practice and expect what needs to be expected. Now, last I checked, what was it, like 4 to 6 hours left till the actual
4.5 hours left.
Yeah, so 4.5 hours.
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5 hours to prep. Don't know if they got training time in. We don't know. I mean, how long did the God of Destruction of Universe 10 take to get all these fighters? Because he's super confident. This is a team. This team don't look like it's ready. It just don't. I mean, yes,
it's patchwork.
Yeah, and again, yes, we know we didn't see the 9 fighters behind them. All there are is a bunch of cloaks. Okay, they're just wearing a bunch of cloaks, so we don't know what they all look like. But I just don't like their chances at all. I don't even think the leader himself will be in the top 10. I just don't see it. And Guatsu, with all his emotion, I definitely feel like he knows this is not the team that's gonna. He knows not only this is not going to be the team to win. He knows it. He knows his time is coming. I think he's
come
grief.
to terms.
I think so.
Yeah,
too.
dude. I think
he's feeling the grief.
I think he's given up.
I think he's given up too.
I think he's given up.
Because you can see the emotion just on, like, if you don't notice how broken he looks, you could just feel the emotion off of that character, that he feels like it's done. Universe 10 is done. I got nothing left in the tank. I just don't believe, and God knows what else is on his mind, other than he feels like he failed his mastering of apprentices. So
maybe he just feels that, like, I mean, this was an interesting thing for me, because I'm not saying this is the case, but like, because he was against what Zamasu did, but there's just a part of me that thinks he's so broken that maybe Zamasu was right. Like, there is no hope for this universe, and it can't be saved. You know, that type of broken?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because he must be so broken in terms of, like, he's just powerless to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He hasn't got
Absolutely.
anything. He's got nothing more to give. Like he gave everything he did like throughout that arc. Couldn't do it, and I just think like he's really, I just think he doesn't give a shit. Like that's the only way I can put it, man.
Yeah,
Because you look at the way he is differently, right? You look at the way he was when he was explaining stuff to Zamasu, right? You go back to the tea drinking scene
mhm.
when he's like, really super confident of like, Zamasu and the right and wrong and the sense of justice and the place of the gods and the place of the Kais and all that. He gives like all these speeches where he's like, I'm dead on point. I know what I'm doing. This is what it is. Duh, duh, duh. And he's going all that and he's so headstrong and confident. Then fast forward to the discussion he had with the God of Destruction, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't know, and that's the
Like
thing,
he's
though. And that's the thing. See, this is where he was broken because he felt like the passing of a torch from master to student. He thought, yes, he's going to be the next person to watch over Universe 10. He's the next person that I've taught right and wrong and the ways of this universe. And after everything happened and the arrival of Goku and Beerus and Whis and whoever that came visit to show them the truth that look, your apprentice was actually corrupted somehow, some way. He thought some things that were good for anything out there, and it really wasn't. And that is on you, man. And he had Whis had to do the 5 minute reversal because he saw you die. Because that was your student that just turned on you. To me, that felt like a Star Wars Master and Apprentice, the apprentice turning on his master or something like that. Not in the movies. I don't think the master. Oh yeah, it did.
yeah.
But
I definitely understand.
yeah, that felt like
That's
betrayal right there. So
that's what I'm
it's
saying. It's that betrayal. That's what does it. Like that's enough to. I mean, that would destroy anybody. You
oh,
know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. And I feel for Gowasu. I really do. Like it's not like you want to say I feel sorry for him, but you gotta feel
No.
for him, and it just feels like what you just said. I totally agree. He is definitely a broken guy now. He just feels like he's powerless, and he's got nothing more to do. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, as for the soldiers that was chosen by the God of Destruction, I'm sure they're pretty strong. I'm sure that these were the strongest fighters they could come up with, but I just don't think they're going to be good enough. I don't think they're going to last well. That's my prediction. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm predicting that
Yeah.
not only they're going to get wiped the floor with other universe fighters, but I just feel like not even their best fighter, the leader, will even make the top 10. Seeing that there's just these 8 universes fighting. So that's my prediction on that.
Yep.
So let's go ahead. You have any final thoughts on the Guatsu before we change subjects?
No. I'm happy to move on to the 2 quotes. I think it should be the next thing.
All right, so you want to move on to the Gohan.
Like
So let's discuss about Mystic Gohan ultimate form. So Mystic Gohan, go ahead and start off with this topic. What do you want to say about the Mystic Gohan? The new Mystic Gohan.
Okay. Well, first things first. Like I know we've had this discussion before about like where we think it's going. Where like we want it to go and things like that. So I'm not really going to delve into that now. But there's 2 exceptionally, and I mean exceptionally exciting and like interesting quotes from the episode that I want to kind of discuss with yourself and everybody.
Go ahead.
Like the first quote being from Gohan to Goku. When Goku powers up to Super Saiyan and he says, to Gohan, like, you're not transforming like to Super Saiyan basically, and Gohan replies with no. And then the following sentence, and this is the quote I want to cover, dude, and get your thoughts on. My goal is an ultimate form that no one has ever seen before.
Right.
Like, I don't know about you, but that says to me either he's gunning for a new transformation, a new form, or a new level that nobody's achieved, and that to me just literally is foreshadowing.
Oh yeah.
To me, that is foreshadowing. That is epic foreshadowing right there. Just that one line.
I'll say this: when we heard that, and I mean, like here's the thing: when they were talking one on one, and Gohan wants to go his way of surpassing. Goku says, "No, I'll stick with what I've got for my training. I'll do my way for surpassing." And you're right. That was a key moment in that episode. Like you knew some fireworks were gonna happen. This was no sparring session. This was who was gonna outdo who, the teacher or the student. Now, obviously, we know that Goku was not the one to teach Gohan everything. The only time I ever remember Goku teaching Gohan anything was basically back in the Cell Saga. But Piccolo has been the teacher for Gohan many times, and of course, recently in the last episode and this episode. So you're basically seeing the architect of Piccolo in Gohan to beat his rival Goku. That's how I feel like this is happening, but in a friendly way, because it's not the evil Piccolo that we know. But I feel like I get a sense of that. Like, it's like Piccolo's been wanting to train the boy for a long time back in Z to lead up to this. And I know he was just training the boy back in Z to fight the Saiyans at the time, but I just feel like just to me, I feel like that's what this is about, but in a friendlier way. And also, again, I feel like the episode was trying to say, hey, I'm trying to pass the torch on from father to son, meaning this is why I'm having my son lead this team, because I know he has great potential. And a lot of the people I'm talking to online, whether it's on Twitch or in Twitter, and reading up on these comments, and on watching the predictions on YouTube for the last month about what Gohan's going to do in this world tournament, I think in my prediction it's going to lead to a new transformation myself. What that transformation is, I think it's probably going to be kind of like the one Trunks went through during the future timeline arc against Goku Black and Zamasu. So that's how I feel like that's going to happen. So what's the there was another quote you wanted to shout out on as well?
I mean, I was just going to literally just led on to that nicely, to be honest. I've always said to you that, in my opinion, I always thought it was going to be ultimate, Mystic Blue. I mean, that's what I dubbed it. I could see it on Twitter. I could see, it was all this thing, and I said to you, it's going to be exactly the same as Trunks' rage form, but with Mystic and a blue aura. That's where I always thought it would go, because it's just kind of the way it is. I honestly am now, for the first time, because of this next line in this quote, I'm now thinking that Gohan and the whole Super Saiyan Blue thing is not specific to full-blooded Saiyans.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna. The reason why I say that is because he says to Goku, and I quote, "I'm going to aim for that with a different method than you."
Mm-hmm.
So that's like me saying, that's like him saying, "I'm aiming for Super Saiyan Blue, but I will go about it a different way."
Mm-hmm.
I will either that, or he's saying, "I will aim for an ultimate power, but in a different way to you." Right. So he's either saying, "Look, I'll achieve Super Saiyan Blue, but I'm going to go my own way about it."
Yeah.
Or he's saying, "I'm going to go to a level that's on par with your Super Saiyan Blue, but it's going to be a new transformation. It's going to be my way. I'm going to do it without even transforming." Right. And that's what kind of keeps me on the whole Mystic Blue thing. He's going to get the Super Saiyan Blue aura, but retain his base form, if that makes sense.
Pretty much.
That's kind of just that's the way I feel. That's kind of going. It's one of two ways. I mean, I don't think a lot of people kind of talk about the Super Saiyan White thing and Akira Toriyama's reasoning behind not having. So I don't think. I think people are pinning. That's just my opinion. I think people are pinning the wrong hopes on anything involving Super Saiyan White.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to be a thing. I just don't see it. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing though was we finally got, if I am correct about this, because I could have sworn Toriyama did state that Super Saiyan White was the form Trunks had. That's what the Super Saiyan White was about. Everybody thought back a long time ago, many months ago, before we got to that point, was, we're gonna see a new transformation, but it was gonna be like what, white aura or like white hair, not like golden hair, but like the white hair, something like that. But the thing though was, I could have sworn he said he wanted to do something like that, but because of what was it? The
villains.
issues with
Yeah.
with the villain. First of all, the villains, because he was going to have the white hair. It was going to conflict with the actual color mixing into the fighters, so it was going to make like the contrast and some other problems with the art design clash together, and it wasn't going to look good on paper. So they decided, listen, the form that everybody's calling Super Saiyan Rage Trunks, that is actually literally the Super Saiyan White that Toriyama was talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, guys, whether you like it or not. But me personally, I just call it like Rage Trunks. You could call him Broly look-alike Trunks because of the eyeballs and how strong he transformed the first time he did it. Like, to me, that's still the best episode to this date, even discussing the Mystic Gohan versus, Super Saiyan Blue Goku episode, because to me, that was a lot of heart, a lot of passion before the transformation. Those quotes between, Zamatsu or was it Goku Black? And it's the same character. Just say Zamatsu. Zamatsu and Trunks to trigger Trunks into that new form. To me, I felt like that whole episode too, from beginning to end, was really good, and the best. And to me, I think it was the best episode, like I said, to this date. But yeah, going forward though, that was the new Super Saiyan White form. So are we gonna see? Are we gonna see? Well, I was gonna say, are we gonna see that in Gohan? I'm predicting sort of yes, but something else. I don't know. But what do you think?
I don't know, like, because there's a lot of mistranslations, like that come out of like fan base theories, and
Yeah.
the thing with mistranslations is like even something as simplistic as colors like can be mistranslated and misinterpreted. Like the whole thing with white, like to me, is plain, basic. Like that's what it is in it. In the
Yeah,
color chart,
exactly.
it's white, it's plain, it's basic. Gohan's mystic form is plain and basic in terms of it's not a Super Saiyan form, it's just his base form
It's
with
just his base form with the
yeah,
Mystic Aura.
you
That's
know.
what they call it. That's why he's nicknamed Mystic
So
Gohan or Ultimate Gohan. Yeah.
if I was to reference like the whole Super Saiyan White thing,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I'm not saying it is mistranslation. I'm just saying it could basically just mean, you know, base. It's a base form transformation. Like the whole Mystic Blue thing that I keep referring to. Like that's all
Mm-hmm.
I see. I just see a base form with blue aura. I don't see. I don't see there being, because the thing is, dude, I've had this discussion loads of times, like before with you.
Yeah.
I don't think Goku's going to get a new transformation either.
So
I
you
think the
don't think
intro.
Goku is going to get a new
No,
transformation, but
I don't think
Gohan
he's going to
will.
get a new
Okay.
transformation. Yeah, I don't think Goku's going to get one like that. I mean, I'm just referencing the intro scene because everybody seems to get carried away with intro
Right.
scenes, and
Sure.
I'm just going to clarify this now. Everybody who uses like the intro scenes as a point of reference for episodic things in the future,
Yeah.
it's silly. And the reason I say that is because you look at Boo. Boo's been advertised as fighting in this tournament from the beginning of this Universal arc. He's in all the intro scenes, pow, 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 wow, wow, all that stuff, and he's not even going to be in it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And it's
So you
very
can't.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to say that Toppo will even fight Goku in that tournament. He
Right.
might get wrecked by somebody and all that. So I don't think that the intro scenes, because they're not direct scenes that are taken out of episodes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're not taken out of future episodes. It's just an intro advertising what the tournament saga is going to be about, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I got you.
So I don't see like the whole. I don't see that,
Yeah, I totally agree. By the way, just to give you a heads up, before we get to the next topic, which is going to be Piccolo, we're going to talk about Piccolo here in the next 20 seconds or so. I just want to let you guys know that in the next few topics, there will be spoilers. So if you guys do not want to hear spoilers, you may want to tune out and come back in. For those that are in my Twitch channel, guys, I'm loving the comments. Thank you so much for the good comments and your guys' theories on where you see Goku, Gohan, and everything else about this tournament powers going through to this date. Yeah, we'll be discussing about the newest episode preview, but let's talk about Piccolo, and the current topic right now is Piccolo's strength. I He has been training just as much as I'm sure Master Roshi has, because you could tell Master Roshi in the last episode, Goku was shocked to see how strong Master Roshi has become all these years since the last saga in Z, and hell, even since the first episode of Super, because we never realized how much he's been training. Piccolo, on the other hand, he's been training just as long, if not longer, than Master Roshi. And of course, on top of that training, he's the one that helped unlock Mystic Gohan's power again, based on confidence boosting and getting rid of the doubt, and just, being an actual warrior and going with it for Gohan, and more to it than just that. But let's talk about Piccolo's strength. He has gotten so much freaking stronger too. And I discussed earlier, like, how the episode happened. He's freaking charging up his ki, like throwing his hands up in the air, and it looks like the attack he's doing is sort of like the Saiyan explosion, aka the Majita, basically self-destruction. But it wasn't that. It was a full-out like nuke AOE crazy ball of fire, like literally just, it was a crazy scene. I know. What do you think about this? Like, how first of all, how strong do you think Piccolo is now? Do you think he's stronger than, let's say, a Super Saiyan 2? Where do you rate his strength? And what do you think of all these new techniques he's doing? I mean, it's crazy how many new techniques he has had in the last few episodes, including this one.
I'd say three things. One, there's a definite foreshadowed Team 4-star charging my attack joke in there.
Okay.
The second thing I'd say, that attack and that combination with Gohan is useless in that tournament.
Okay.
Like, it took too long to build. I don't understand why Goku even remotely said that that's an amazing, because there's gonna be like, X amount of fighters. They're not going to sit there and go, there's an Namekian, they're gathering a shit ton of power. Let's leave him alone for 10 minutes. And as strong as Gohan is, he won't be able to fight off, like, 70 other competitors? Like, yeah, he's not going to be able to fight off, like, or however many it is. Like, he's not going to be able to fight off, like, all those competitors on his own while Piccolo sits there and does that attack.
Right.
So, I get that it was a good attack. I get that it was nice to see in terms of 2-on-2 battle and whatnot, but it wouldn't work in the tournament. That's my opinion on that. Yeah. And I think the third thing with regards to, the power level of Piccolo, like, I would probably put Piccolo right now on par with. It's a tricky one, but
yeah.
I would probably.
I was going to say, how about this? In ranking of 1 through 10, seeing that 10 is the low, I would say 10th place is the lowest, obviously. Where would you rank him out of the 9 other fighters at this point? That's a good question.
Fourth. I'd say fourth. I'd say stronger than Android. I would say stronger than Android 17. Like,
do you base that on when they fought in Z?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, you cannot even use that as a remote reference for power scaling.
Okay.
Like that,
which is fair.
Because no, like no, you can't.
It's a good question.
Can't, because it was just so long. No, it was just so long ago. Like, the reason, like, this is my order for the 9 fighters. Like, if we're not including Boo because he's not in it now. Like, if we're talking about the 9 fighters we've currently got, like, I would put Goku first. That's just because it's Akira Toriyama.
Okay.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean.
In the beginning of the fight, gotcha.
I would then put Vegeta second.
Okay, yeah.
I would say Vegeta is still hands down stronger than Gohan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would then put Gohan third.
Mm-hmm.
I would then put Piccolo fourth.
So
Android.
So that's even. So here's where I'm gonna throw another curveball. So since you've stated 4, and spoiler alert, because we know we're losing Boo, unfortunately. Do you think he would have been stronger than Boo? Do you think he would have been stronger than Boo?
Piccolo, yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. Now, throwing in Frieza, if he is going to be part of this, because again, we have to watch these episodes because we know he's mentioned. But let's say he joins this team. Do you think he's even stronger than Golden Frieza form?
What, Piccolo?
Yes. In his maximum, if they are both at maximum strength, let's say all these fighters are at maximum strength, do you think Golden form Frieza is weaker than Piccolo? And why? That's a good question.
I would say yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
I would say yes for two
why,
reasons. One,
let's hear
the the reason I would say that Piccolo is stronger than Golden Frieza is because Frieza hasn't utilized that form for starters.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's
and
a
the minute
fact.
Frieza utilized that form, Frieza burnt through shit tons of energy.
Yes, he
Right.
did.
Piccolo's a smart fighter. He's already seen that transformation burn through.
Mm-hmm.
So Piccolo would bide his time. Piccolo's got the ability to regenerate. Like, he could bide that battle, and I don't think Golden Frieza has the power to completely rid Piccolo of his ability to regenerate.
Right.
So I think Piccolo would just burn through that fight. Well, wait for Frieza to burn through that fight, and be just damn right be smarter. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a case of, like, tactician wise.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the second reasoning behind why I think Piccolo's stronger,
Mm-hmm.
Gohan went toe to toe with SSB.
Right.
You don't train somebody who's going toe to toe with a Super Saiyan Blue
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have a legit, decent amount of strength.
Right.
Like, Piccolo's not weak by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm not saying like he kept on par with Gohan during training,
Yeah.
but he must have been at least capable of doing so. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think Frieza cuts it in terms of, like, he's got too much just not going strength wise, and he just burns through power. He's not what you consider like an experienced martial artist. He's just he's in for the kill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you on
Like,
that.
yeah, he's just in for the kill, whereas
He's
Piccolo's
just
in it
for the kill. That's all he is. Just in for the kill.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be a little difficult, seeing that the tournament forbiddens killing. So here's my opinion of is Piccolo stronger than certain things? Or certain people, I should say. I think definitely the top 3 goes to all the Saiyans. Okay, so definitely Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan in that order. I agree with that order. Number 4. Now, like I said, if we threw Frieza in there, and then we have the androids, so that's 2 androids: Krillin, Tien, Master Roshi. They're all on the bottom as far as I know. I would have to say, I think Piccolo would be number 5, and I would put Frieza at 4. And I agree with you about the burn up energy portion of this of Frieza, because here's the thing: Frieza burned out his energy, but he did beat Goku one-on-one. This, on the other hand, this is not a one-on-one, guys. This is a free-for-all. This is a battle royal. This is the Royal Rumble of WWE, except this is for higher stakes than a number 1 contendership to WrestleMania. This is to win your. This is to survive and get your Super Shenron wish done. Okay, this is to win it all. And to me, I still think Frieza is going to be stronger than Piccolo, only for the fact that, yes, he'll go into that form, or hell, he may even go full power Frieza. I have no idea, but I don't think full power Frieza is stronger than Piccolo's strength as is. But if he goes golden, and yes, I know the form has its limits, I think it's stronger. Technically going to be stronger than Piccolo's, and that's just my opinion. The flaw is what you said earlier. Well, hold on. The flaw is what you said earlier, and the thing is, he's still going to have a flaw, because he died. And do you see him training? No. I'm predicting that when we get to that part of the episode, which is in not next, I don't think it's going to be in next week's episode, but I think it's going to be in episode 93 or where are we at? Yeah, there are 2 episodes from now. I think he's still going to be wrapped up like a mummy, hanging on a tree, or whatever Toriyama has planned for him, that he can't do anything in hell or wherever they call it, and he doesn't have the training. And listen, 4.5 hours or even less by that point when they get to him. There's no prep time for him. He's got to go with the team, and that's if that happens. And I'm sure it's going to happen because, again, Frieza's going to be mentioned in 93, and we're going to see Frieza and all that. I still think he's going to be stronger than Piccolo. And I mean, based on, I know there was the Resurrection of F movie, and then of course then the episode leading towards the movie, which is a different version of it. I just feel like I feel like seeing what he did to Gohan. I know this Gohan's now changed, but seeing what he did to Gohan with the finger beams, and whatever, and seeing Piccolo fight by that point they were weaker. With them's training, I feel like they're at subpar. Not Gohan, but just Piccolo at subpar. But when he goes golden, I think he's just gonna be stronger, just based on his form and the strength boost, the energy boost, and all of that. And I'm just gonna go with that. So I just feel like those two reasons.
I would say if he can go golden still.
Ooh, so you don't think he'll go golden if he?
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying if he can, because if he's like burnt out that form, he was knocked back to final form. Like, and granted, he could transform back to that form, and I get that, right? But what I'm saying is, his body in death will have weakened.
Yeah.
If he's been strapped up in that tree, like, he was in Resurrection of F, his body's, he might not be, without training, he might not be able to sustain that form, and he would burn through it even quicker than he did last time.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because he's had no sustainable training.
Right.
Whereas, and that's why I put Piccolo above Frieza, because Frieza's not even had sustainable training in that form either. So that's the reason why I put Piccolo above. But if we get like a filler where, it's shown Frieza's been in hell training and doing all the shit that like all the villains did in the filler of Z, like, if we kind of get all that and Frieza's been training, I would say that Frieza would be on par with Piccolo, or maybe like a bit stronger, but I wouldn't count Piccolo out. Yeah. Like, I seriously wouldn't burn. Okay, I'm gonna cover that now. Like, I know people say he wouldn't burn through quicker because he's dead. I'm just gonna say Super Saiyan 3 Goku on that. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, that literally, that's all I'm gonna say on that subject. Like, that's it, because it shortened Goku's 24-hour span when he went Super Saiyan 3, right? And the quote in Z was, "You'll burn out the remaining time if you go." You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna leave that there.
Yeah.
So like, as far as it wouldn't burn through quicker because he's dead, it would burn through faster in 24 hours. Because this is another thing as well. If Frieza comes back and uses the golden form, and this is what a lot of people don't seem to be like understanding, if Frieza's only allowed back for 24 hours, yeah,
right,
and Frieza uses that golden form, would it be the same principle with the golden Frieza as it would be with Goku's Super Saiyan 3 when he came back for 24 hours?
That's a good point, because remember, Goku was training, and for all that time he was dead, and look what he became in the 24-hour resurrection. So I feel like you're onto something, because it's like to pay nostalgia to the World Tournament episode leading to Majin Buu Saga. So it could be that. I mean, I think he can still. I think if he came back to life for 24 hours, can he go back to golden form? I think he will. But again, I think both you and I are in agreement. I think that form's going to burn out because he has not properly trained good enough for that. And you're not going to get perfection in less than, well, by the time they probably meet up with him, probably about 3 hours or less, if that. So there's not a whole lot, like I said, no prep time for him at all. He's going to be the wild card in this factor. In my opinion, he's the wild card, because we don't know what he can do. We don't even know if he'll even turn on him, for all we know. I don't know. So,
well, I was just gonna say, like, before it kind of just went too far for me to bring it up, like, I can see Frieza. If Frieza says yes, and I think the only way Frieza will say yes is if Beerus threatens him.
Right.
Like that's the only way. You know what I mean? Because he's shit scared of Beerus.
Oh yes, he is. He don't want to do
Like he don't
anything to.
want.
He
Yeah.
has
So
nothing to. He doesn't want anything to do with Barrett. After the
this
last
is.
time they talked before his death, it was not a pretty one. It was not a pretty one. So
I can see. Like this is my prediction. If Frieza is involved in this tournament, right?
mhm.
I see the 24-hour burning of energy being a factor. I see Frieza fighting, and I see Frieza getting the upper hand on several fighters from various universes. I also see Frieza getting nostalgically cocky and overconfident,
Right.
right? And I also think Frieza will eliminate 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to dick tease. I think they're going to dick tease one of the strongest fighters like Toppo or something like that. They're going to, or is it, what's his name now? Is it Jaren?
Jaren is supposedly going
Jaren?
to be the strongest fighter in Universe 11's arsenal. Yes, because they
I
want to
yeah,
summon him. Yeah.
I think they might even dick tease Frieza literally about to eliminate Jaren. And just as he does,
Wow, that's a hell of a prediction.
just like just well, I'm just saying like Toriyama's like well known for dick teasing. Like
Oh
I
yes,
just
he
think he might
is.
I think he might they might dick tease Frieza's about to eliminate Jaren, right?
Right.
And I think just as he's about to, I think his energy is going to burn through, and he's going to end up going back to Otherworld. His 24 hours will be up. He'll have
Yeah.
burned through, and then the Universe Seven's one member down.
Yeah, and I agree. I think his energy will burn out too, to the point where it'll be just like a nostalgia moment from Dragon Ball Z when Goku had not enough time when he transformed to Super Saiyan 3. Not to mention before that, exhausting energy and facing his rival Vegeta at the time, which he was Majin Vegeta. That burned out so much time. So I I don't know. I think he'll probably burn out too, pretty
I think
fast. He'll be way less than 24 hours,
another
in my
factor to
opinion.
consider. Definitely, dude. Definitely. Like another thing to consider as well. Frieza's a fucking galactic tyrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Frieza's energy doesn't burn out, and if Frieza, gets the full 24 hours to participate, yeah. If Frieza gets eliminated from this tournament,
Yeah.
you're like, no, there's no way anybody in chat, anybody can tell me like that Frieza's going to get eliminated and then go, you know what, it was a blast. Thanks, guys. See you later. I'm going back to my shitty cocoon now. And he's going to walk away and be all like, cool. He will go like full on Big Show. Like if he gets eliminated, he will get back in that ring, punch several people out, whether he's been
Right.
eliminated or not,
Right.
and he will then try and go for Goku.
Yeah.
Because he will be like, right, the one thing, if I'm eliminated, the one thing I'm doing before I fucking die,
Yeah.
I'm taking Goku with me.
Yeah.
Because his obsession with Goku's unhealthy.
Oh my god,
Right?
he has the biggest obsession with Goku ever since they first fight. And I mean, well, when they first fought, excuse me. And it's just that he just doesn't have a clue that he knows he can't beat Goku. So he needs to literally let it go. But because of his own, what is it called? His own pride. There's Saiyan pride and there's his pride. And his pride is, I want to kill this Saiyan monkey. That's his pride right there. I know that was my worst Frieza impersonation ever, but literally, that's all that he wants to do. In this situation, this is why I said it's possible, and I'm predicting this, is if he is part of this World Tournament team, or not World Tournament team, the Power 10 team, right? The Tournament Power team, and he's going to fight with our fighters here. Do you think he's going to betray? And I feel like it could happen. I really do. And the first thing he'll probably, I don't know if it's the first thing that will happen. Maybe probably, I would say this, predicting wise. I think he's, like I predict, he's going to be the wild card. What I'm predicting is, I think he's going to sit back. I think he's going to let this play out, and then he's going to make his move unless somebody gets up in his face. Other than seeing, maybe possibly, the only way I think he doesn't stay sidelined is he sees the fact that he sees a wannabe right in front of him, and that is Frost. And I feel like we're going to see a Frost versus Frieza at first, and then I feel like he's going to wait and bide his time. I feel betrayal is going to happen. I really feel like a backstab move is going to happen. basically because of what you just said. Is he just can't? He just resents Goku so bad. It's not about just being a Saiyan. It's not about the race of from the planet that he erased a long time ago and killed his father and all the fellow Saiyans, King Vegeta and all that. But it's just that in his mind, in his thoughts, Goku must die. He just can't let it go. And I feel like a backstab move is gonna happen in the tournament. What do you think? What do you think about a backstab move? You think the backstab's gonna happen, or do you think he's
Inevitable.
actually going to play out Beerus's orders? Do you think he'll take the orders and follow through with the orders? Because I feel like that's gonna happen. No, you don't think so. So I feel like that's not gonna happen.
I've talked about all these Frieza things.
Yeah.
I've talked about all these Frieza things, like and everything, and I've emphasized the word "if" on everything I've said.
Yeah.
Right, because the reason I emphasized "if" is purely because, and this is my opinion, Beerus threatened or not, Frieza's arrogant, right?
Right.
And I think Beerus will come down on Frieza. He will threaten him. He will tell him he needs him in this tournament. Blah blah blah. You know, whatever he must do. I honestly think Frieza's arrogance will be, well, I'm already dead. There's nothing more you can do to me. You know what I mean? He will be like that. And then he will be like, I am not entering, and I will not fight with that Saiyan. You know what I mean? He'll be like all that shit. And he'll be like, the only way I'm coming back is if I get to kill Son Goku. And he will go all like that shit. And Beerus will be like, well, that's not happening. And I think Beerus will just have to deal with the fact that, like, Frieza's not entering. I don't think Frieza will be in the tournament.
Okay, so that's the final prediction. You don't think he's actually going to be in the tournament. You just think it's just going to be a dick tease, then, period.
I think it's going to be a full-on dick tease.
Okay. Well, let's move on to... Well, yeah. Go ahead, finish up. No,
I was just going to say, dude, like, for me, there's only one fighter. There's only one 10th fighter. And he's still in fan demand. And he's still... I'm not saying they'll be able to get him because, time travel's banned or anything. But, like, if you're going to include somebody, it's Future Trunks.
Future Trunks? Well, there's always that option of...
I'm not saying that's going to happen, by the way.
There's always that option of Yamcha. Because remember, there was a, 2 episodes ago, at the end of that episode, he's like, well, if I'll just buy my time, and, I'll say at first, well, I don't think I'm needed. You guys go on ahead. And then Yamcha wants to hear them say, oh, we need you. So, will Yamcha be the 10th fighter? I highly doubt it. I would love to see Future Trunks come back. I just don't think that's gonna happen.
No, it won't happen.
Your prediction
Dude, it won't happen.
Your prediction is Future Trunks, but it won't happen. My prediction is Frieza coming in, but I feel like a betrayal move is gonna happen. All right, let's move on to the next topic. So, speaking of Frieza, because this leads to why we were talking about the last topic of Frieza. Thoughts on Boo and what do you think about this move in the story? And I'll start it off, and I'll say this, and this is part of the preview of the next episode where you hear Goku say, oh, well, basically Boo is out, Bulma was saying Boo is out for a while. He cannot compete, or something's wrong with Boo. We don't know what's wrong with Boo. So something is going on with Mr. Boo. And how do I feel about this? So basically, here's what I'm going to start off with. I'm going to predict this, is I think training through Hercule Satan and I think he overtrained, because obviously he looked like Super Boo, but a newer version of Super Boo. He looks stronger, but I feel like he got exhausted. And the thing is, I go back to Z, and back when he was the evil Super Boo that we know, remember, he took that little brief nap and he was sleeping. I feel like Boo overtrained too much to where it put him into a deep sleep, and we don't know how long he's going to sleep for. And I don't know if he's going to be awakened. God, for all we know, maybe this is another tease as well. Maybe he'll actually participate by maybe somebody awaken him. Maybe something will change the outcome to put him back in the tournament. But the way this seems, doesn't seem like he's coming back into this tournament. And to me, this was a very disappointing moment on Toriyama and the staff for making this move. Whoever's making these decisions, because the thing is, I love good story arc. I really do. And by far, the future Trunks timeline, the arc for that alone was amazing. And this arc, I still question a little bit from time to time, but I'm enjoying it. And of course, this current weekend's episode I love the hell out of it, and definitely I'm giving it probably a solid 9 or even more because I thought it was beautiful. It was a beautiful episode. But seeing the previews and we know what's happening to Boo, I feel like this was a big disappointment. Now let's talk about the disappointments. Since Super has come out, and Boo was part of the 5-man tournament for when it was Universe 7 versus Universe 6, he couldn't even pass a freaking test. Obviously, he's not the smartest person, you know, as Majin Buu being Fat Boo. So yeah, he got disqualified. He couldn't fight. But going into the Expedition match versus 9 and seeing what he actually could do and bring to the table, I was amazed. I actually felt like a Boo fan at